let's dive right in and hear about your AI aha for this episode, Bridget.
Yeah. So I continue to work a lot with deep research, which we both talked about. What a what a great breakthrough that feels for each of us. And I was working with it on a few topics this weekend, and in one of them, I really wanted a visual of the structure I was describing in the memo. I was working on a memo, and I wanted a visual of it that in my brain needed to be a diagram. And so deep research produced computer code, which I recognized as computer code, but don't know how to code, have no training in coding. But deep research made it so easy. It gave me a link to a GitHub page that allows you to just drop code into it, and it produces whatever the code tells it to produce. And the deep research memo also just said, click here to copy the code and then go to this link. And I did exactly that. I did exactly what it told me. I clicked to copy the content of the code and then went to the GitHub link and I dropped the code into the GitHub link just by pasting. And it produced this like beautiful diagram that was exactly how my brain was visualizing it. I'm sure with a little bit of practice, I could probably even learn how to change that diagram with some changed code. Actually, I wouldn't have to know how to code it. I could probably just go back to deep research and say, "Great first try. Can you make it a little different in the way you do with these models?" And it would probably just create brand new code for me. But I have to say, it's kind of exciting to be able to be in GitHub and feel like I had my first GitHub experience. I keep learning that we're not going to have to learn much about coding in the future. That we're just going to be able to produce things, build things in natural language, which I assume is what's coming. But it feels like even before we get there, everything's just gotten a lot easier. So I don't ask me any follow up questions about coding or GitHub because I won't know the answers. But that was pretty cool, I have to say. So how
I
about you?
wouldn't even know enough to ask a follow-up question, but it's exciting to know that you and I can now access the realm of coding with zero expertise. So mine was sort of similar because I was on a flight to come to Chicago, and I have been working in my small business to figure out how to right size current work, future work, how to keep enough in the pipeline, but also how to not be overwhelmed by work to make sure that we keep delivering quality services. And it seems like that should be an easier thing to figure out than it feels like. So I opened Claude on the plane and asked it to create a dashboard for me of, here are the services that we deliver, here are the price points, here's where we'd like to be, but we wanna not be burnt out. So how can we think about this in a way where we can have, like, an at a glance idea of our capacity? And like you said, the window opened on the right side after I gave the prompt, and I felt like Penny from Inspector Gadget or, like, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo because it just started, like, coding. And like you, I have no idea what it is, but I could recognize that it looked like coding, and I felt very cool because 'cause I'm like, surely there are people on this plane who have no idea what Claude is, and it looks like maybe I'm a cool coder. Um, and it developed this beautiful dashboard that was sort of exactly what I was looking for. It was like a red light, yellow light, green light system, and when you're in green, you wanna be thinking about building the pipeline. When you're in yellow, you can make a decision. When you're in red, you really need to focus on, like, getting the work off of your plate or managing it. The only issue was that all of the numbers were made up except for the numbers that I gave it in the prompt, which makes sense. I mean, it does not have anything to work from. The numbers that I gave it in the prompt for revenue goals and things like that were accurate. Um, so I imagine like you, I imagine if I followed up and I said, "Okay, but the assumptions you're making are not correct. Can you update with these numbers?" It would generate a more useful dashboard, but you can sort of see where it's going, where I don't need to access some separate software. I don't need to I was trying to figure out how to integrate HubSpot and QuickBooks so that my
No.
invoices and my clients matched up. Like, it would be so great to have a world where I don't have to think about those things at all because I don't know how to do those and I don't have the time. Thank you for tuning in to 2030 Vision, AI and the Future of Law. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast and leave a review. Stay informed and inspired as we continue to explore the AI-driven future of the legal profession. We'll see you next time.